Prince Ali, fabulous he, Alibaba. That's right, one of our favorite Disney adaptation movies is finally here. Your boy Aladdin. So let's get it.
Welcome to the Kaiba Show.
Alright, people, so Aladdin is starring Mena Massoud, Will Smith, and Naomi Scott, and is directed by Guy Ritchie. And you guys pretty much already know the story, you already know the premise. This is an adaptation movie from the 1992 animated Disney movie. So we already know we have Aladdin, who's a street rat, and he wants to impress Princess Jasmine, and he stumbles upon a lamp, and he's granted 3 wishes, but we already know Jafar's there to, stop that, thwart that plan. So let's talk about what worked for the movie. And we all know in the beginning, there was a lot of backlash with Will Smith being casted as the genie. But I will say this, folks. I was highly impressed with his version of the genie. Is it Robin Williams? No, it is not. It is not Robin Williams. That role right there is untouchable. Nobody will ever live up to that standard, hit that mark. But I will say this. Will Smith did a pretty good job playing the genie. He was very entertaining as the genie. So all that negativity that I myself and the rest of the world had, I think we should dub that down now, because he pretty much carried the movie. Will Smith was probably the best thing about this movie. What else worked for the movie? The wardrobe and the set pieces were very vibrant, very colorful. I like the set pieces when it came to showing off all the nice architect, the colors of the buildings, stuff like that. I'm not going to go too heavy in that because that's also something I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But for the most part, the wardrobe, Disney did a really good job. I can see this movie probably getting nominated for wardrobe. Set pieces was nice. Movie, since we're going on with the visuals, CGI wasn't too bad in this movie. It was actually pretty good. I know some people don't like the CGI, Will Smith, him being the blue genie. But for the most part, it didn't really bother me in the movie. So I felt like with those elements, that was the stuff that pretty much worked for the movie and helped carry the movie to, be somewhat entertaining. All right, people. So what didn't work for the movie? Where should I start? Let me start off with Jafar. That's not my Jafar. Jafar needs to be an older man, probably mid 40s to mid 50, late 50-ish. Creep factor. He needs to be an old, salty, in his feelings, creep a-hole. And this Jafar was a younger guy, soft-spoken. Never, ever in this movie did he ever put the fear in me. The animated cartoon. The animated cartoon, you felt yo, Jafar, that's a bad dude. This movie, you don't get that vibe. He's soft-spoken. He come off as a sap. I don't even understand how, he was able to get around and maneuver the way he did, because it was just come on, this ain't Jafar. And pretty much, other stuff that bothered me with the movie was pretty much I felt like a lot of people was casted wrong in this movie. For the most part, Aladdin, he didn't do a bad job, but he didn't do a great job either. He was he was okay. His acting was, it was doable. It was enough to carry the movie, I guess. Jasmine, she was okay, but I just felt like there was a lot of cheesy lines in here. He was overdoing it with the smile and trying to be charismatic. It was just over the top. And Iago, how y'all play my boy Iago? He's pointless in the movie. To be honest with you, Iago could have been taken out the movie and you guys would have never noticed it, because that's how much little impact he had on this movie. compared to the animated movie. Iago was a major role player, if you think about it, in the 1992 cartoon. And then in this movie, you guys pretty much just literally made him a parrot where he sometimes mimicked, and then when he did talk, it was just like two words. Like he didn't really have a talking role in this movie like how he did in the anime. Like him and Jafar was having legit conversations, legit arguments, calling each other stupid, idiots, you don't know what you're doing. Like there was none of that back and forth with Jafar and Iago in this movie, and I was highly, highly disappointed with this movie. So the acting, besides Will Smith is Will Smith, but the acting was just mediocre. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't excellent either. And I want to say the story was okay because they didn't 100% follow the blueprint of the animated movie. At certain parts of the movie, it dragged. It was kind of boring. They added an extra 30 minutes to the movie that didn't need to be added because the animated movie should be somewhere between 82 to maybe 90 minutes. We all know growing up on these Disney movies, these movies were somewhere between 80 minutes to 90 movies. There's never any Disney animated movie that's like 2 hours long from back in the day. These movies were short. So they added like a whole extra like 40 minutes of extra nonsense that didn't need to be in the movie that kind of took you out of the movie. And the execution wasn't always there. Guy Ritchie, who's a pretty decent director, he did some camera shots, some stylization that I was just like, why did he do this? Speeding up in certain scenes, it was weird. It took you out of the moment. And even though, and what worked for the movie, I mentioned that the set pieces were nice. They were nice. But what didn't work for the movie was that you could tell the set pieces was in a studio. If you're going to do any movie that's based in a certain location, you actually need to go to that location to film it. If I'm making a movie about some country in South America or China or, you know, whatever, you need to go to those locations and physically shoot there. There's a lot of times in a movie where you could tell that they was in a studio, that they was on set. It wasn't in the Middle East. You guys could have easily found a nice spot in a Middle Eastern country and shot on location so it looked authentic. So even though the sets did look nice, you could tell it wasn't authentic. You could tell it was in a studio, and it kind of took you out of the movie because it just didn't really feel like it. If you guys would have went somewhere legit, it probably would have felt more like it was in Agrabah. And you didn't feel like it was in Agrabah. You felt like it was in like some Hollywood studio with the set being built, or in Atlanta, or vice versa, whatever. So I feel like those are the elements that didn't work for the movie. So overall, people, on the Kaiba scale of 1 to 10, with all the stuff that I said and I'm thinking about it, I think I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5. It was straight. It was okay. There was some entertaining parts. The musical scenes that were from the actual movie, not the additional songs that Disney, with these live adaptation movies lately, they've been throwing in their own movies. I mean, their own music into the movies. When they did the actual songs from the animated movie, it was entertaining. Will Smith carried the movie, but just wasn't enough to like be like, oh my God, will I watch this movie again? Yeah, maybe when it's on TV, but I don't know if I'll buy it on Blu-ray. And if you're going to see it, I highly recommend you seeing it during matinee. So if you like what you see, you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. After that, hit the bell button so you get notified every time I upload a video. And please leave a comment, hit the like button at the bottom.